In the real world, success is rarely determined by how much information a person remembers. Instead, it depends on how well that information is understood, applied, questioned, judged, and transformed into something meaningful. The 6 levels of thinking provide a powerful framework to evaluate human thinking, learning, and decision-making. These levels, remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating, can be observed every day in classrooms, workplaces, and leadership roles. At the most basic level, remembering involves recalling facts, definitions, or procedures. In real life, this is visible when students memorize textbook answers the night before an exam, or when employees follow instructions without understanding their purpose. While remembering is necessary as a foundation, relying solely on memory often leads to short-term success and long-term failure. A student may score well in exams, yet struggle in higher studies because memorized knowledge fades when it is not deeply processed. Understanding moves beyond memorization by allowing individuals to grasp meaning. A student who understands a scientific concept can explain it in their own words, relate it to daily life, and answer questions logically. Teachers who focus on understanding rather than rote learning help students develop clarity and confidence. In leadership, understanding people's emotions and motivations is more valuable than simply knowing rules and policies. This level evaluates learning by asking not, "What do you remember?" but, "Do you truly understand what you know?" Applying knowledge is where learning becomes practical and visible. In the real world, a student applies mathematical formulas to solve problems. A teacher applies new teaching strategies to improve classroom engagement, and a leader applies knowledge to make decisions under pressure. This level evaluates thinking based on usefulness. Knowledge that cannot be applied often remains theoretical and disconnected from reality. Those who consistently apply what they learn develop confidence, skill, and independence. Analyzing represents a shift from doing to thinking deeply. At this level, individuals break information into parts, examine relationships, and identify causes and consequences. For example, a student analyzing a historical event looks beyond dates to understand reasons and impacts. A teacher analyzes student mistakes to improve teaching methods. A business leader analyzes market trends before making strategic decisions. This level evaluates thinking by measuring how well a person can question information instead of blindly accepting it. Evaluating involves making judgments based on evidence and reasoning. In real life, students evaluate different solutions to a problem and justify their answers. Teachers evaluate teaching methods to determine what works best for diverse learners. Leaders evaluate risks, ethics, and long-term consequences before taking action. This level is crucial because it shapes opinions, values, and decisions. Poor evaluation leads to impulsive actions, while thoughtful evaluation builds credibility, wisdom, and trust. The highest level of thinking is creating, where new ideas, solutions, or products are developed. In real-world terms, this is seen when students design projects, invent solutions, or express original ideas. Teachers who create innovative learning environments leave lasting impacts on students' lives. Leaders who create vision and change shape societies and industries. Creation evaluates thinking at its peak, as it reflects originality, problem-solving ability, and the courage to go beyond existing boundaries. In evaluating the 6 levels of thinking, it becomes clear that while all levels are important, growth happens when individuals move upward. Remembering and understanding build knowledge. Applying and analyzing develop skill and insight. Evaluating builds judgment. And creating leads to innovation. In education, teaching should aim not just to help students pass exams, but to help them think independently. In leadership, success comes not from authority, but from the ability to think deeply and creatively. Ultimately, the 6 levels of thinking remind us that thinking is not a fixed ability. It is a skill that can be developed. When students learn to think beyond memorization, teachers teach beyond textbooks, and leaders act beyond routine decisions, society progresses. The true measure of intelligence is not how much we remember, but how well we use, question, judge, and transform what we know into meaningful action.